Hi everyone, it's the Comic Fan Man here, coming at you with another video. And today we are covering another Marshal Bravestarr. Yes sir, Marshal Bravestarr is getting big coverage. I saw when Ramen Toys announced this figure and I was like, I really wanted it, but then I was like, no, I held off. But then when I went to look for the Origins Rio Blast, I found actually a Motu Classics Rio Blast. And then when I got him, I was like, oh man, he brought up some nostalgia for me when I used to play with him with Marshal Bravestarr figures in the past. So I went ahead and I got the Marshal Bravestarrs from the vintage figures. And then I said, you know what? Let me pull the trigger. Let me get the Ramen Toys the Marshal here. And the box art is really cool. Look at this. This is the Marshal Bravestarr lean from the movie poster. And it's also in the animation in the entrance. And look at that. From what I saw, the artist actually posed the figure himself and then painted this. So this is a painting that he did of the figure. So that's really cool. Ramen Toys, the Marshal. And the front is magnetic. And take a look at that. Oh, that is a stunning painting. And yeah, there he goes. Eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf, strength of the bear, speed of the puma. Love it, love it, love it. And there's the figure himself from New Texas. All right, let's open him up, get him out, and let's have a look at the Marshal. All right, so here he is, Ramen Toys, the Marshal, with all of his accessories out here. And first, before we get into the figure and his accessories, he also comes with a backdrop, just like the other one, but this one actually has the art and design credit by Ken Coleman. Visit him at www.artofkencoleman.com. And yeah, that's a really nice shot of New Texas there. Very cool with the three moons. I thought it had three suns, but yeah, I guess if you had three suns, why can't you have three moons? That's very cool though. I love that smoky, dusty look to it. That really makes it look Western. So I love it. I think that looks fantastic. I'm gonna definitely use that for something. All right, first let's take a look at all the hands here. He's got these two open palm hands so that he can tell you, stop in the name of the law. Love that. Loved all the paint detail that they did here. Look at all of that. That's gorgeous. Very cool for these small hands. Here's his gun shooting hands here. He's got the trigger fingers. Very cool, so he can pull his gun left or right if you want. And then he also has these, I guess, melee gripping hands. That's fantastic. He comes with this extra just all blue vest here with the Marshal star. And I'm pretty sure this is a callback to this vest, because that's really nice. Wow. Look at all the detail and stuff. Yeah, this is definitely a callback to that, because I'll show you the back of his vest definitely looks just like this. Great job. Oh my goodness. And there's definitely some kind of wash here. I thought it was dirt, but it's not. It's some kind of wash to make it look dusty. Very cool. He comes with this extra head sculpt and hat. So this head sculpt, he's got a smirk. This one, he's more serious. I'll show you when I get up close, but this one has a very cool smirk. And I'm trying to see if I can, there it is. They put some kind of gloss over the eyeballs, And it looks great. Makes it look like real eyes. It's got this glossy finish to it. Very cool. He's got articulation in his ponytail. Really nice. And it turns and everything. Great job. Love that detail. And this is the hat with the drop down visor. And this always perplexed me in the cartoon. He's got eyes of the hawk. Why did he ever need this? This was to like show him like, you know, they were like binoculars. Like I was like, but wait, he's got eyes of the hawk. I never understood that, but it does look cool. Not gonna lie. And the little microphone there, it tucks under the lip, so it'll hold its position like that. Really cool. Very good looking there. He comes with, oops, let's go, stand up, Marshall, relax. My vintage Marshal Bravestarr is like, man, this guy had everything I never had. And this was the energy shield. He, every now and again in the cartoon, when he was getting shot at, he would pull this out and it would materialize from his glove. And they put a socket there, very similar to the way Masterverse does some of their shields with the plugs there. And let's see, does it hold? Doesn't seem to be holding. I can hear it gripping. Oh, there it is. And there you go. He's got his energy star shield. Very cool. We'll get to that when we get to the figure himself. And this is another energy weapon that he would call out of his side guard here. This is a Tomahawk hatchet. Really cool. And yes, he would definitely use this from time to time. But look, they gave it a sheath and everything. And it sits in there really nicely, and it stays very good. And they gave him a holster for his neutral laser. It doesn't clip or anything, so the neutral laser is definitely loose in here. But so long as you have it properly, it won't come out or anything. But look at that. Neutral laser just slides right out. The holster is very, very nice. But look at the neutral laser. Really cool. They gave it this really nice metallic blue finish. I love it. I think it looks great. And now let's take a look at the Marshal himself. There he is. You see, this is his more serious face. I love it. I think they did a really, really nice job making him look like a little bit more aged, and definitely bringing up his American Indian heritage look. I think he looks very cool. And the hat just sits right on top, just like that. Where is it? Yeah, there you go. It does wiggle and it does fall off. So, although I did see that somebody said you got to put it a certain way, I just haven't found that knack yet. That looks great. I love this extra poncho that they have on him here. That's fantastic. Let me just take off his hat for now so we can go over the figure. Look at that. That looks great. That poncho is really cool. And when I saw this poncho, that's what gave me the idea to do the poncho for my vintage figure. And you pop off the head here. The poncho slides right off, just like that. And now you got the Marshal in his regular suit. There you go. Pop his head back on. And that looks really cool. Now, this vest here, looks like it's the same as this one. It just has this white coloring to it. And I think in the cartoon, when it was the white and blue together, I think this was when he was still a cadet. Because I remember he had like a different hat. And I remember some of the Marshals in the episodes when they showed where he was a cadet, some of them had their vests like this, where it was white and blue. So I think this is his Cadet vest. But again, you just easily, it's got the tabs on the side there. Comes right off. It feels very much like a Masterverse vest there. Then pop his head back on. And there you go, the Marshal. His belt does have a tendency to slide up, but it's okay. But look at this. Again, they did very much like Dasin Toys. This is very much along the lines of the design of the cartoon Marshal Bravestarr, not the vintage Marshal Bravestarr. Obviously, the vintage Marshal Bravestarr looks like that. He's very different. This is more along the lines of what he looked like in the cartoon, although they did upgrade it, obviously. They gave him these blue pieces here on the side guard. They gave him these kneecaps. But this blue here on the boots, he had that in the cartoon. And the shirt was definitely like this in the cartoon. It's really good looking. I love the belt here. Take a look at the belt. That looks fantastic with all the pouches. The belt, when it came in, it did come in upside down, but he has a ball joint right there, and it was easy just to pop it off and flip it over. Oh, looks like it should be able to come out here. No, that's glued. That's glued. I'm not messing with that. But it was easy to pop off and just flip over, so not a big deal. You flip it over, you put it back to where it belongs, and then that's it. You got him there. And he's a really, really cool figure. His articulation is amazing. I know Ramen Toys, they've been doing a lot of vehicles and stuff like that. And I know last year they did a head for the Dolph Lundgren Masterverse figure, because Mattel, for whatever reason, did not make him look like Dolph Lundgren. So Ramen Toys actually made a Dolph Lundgren head, and it looks fantastic, and I missed out on it, but they did just re-release it during their visit to Toylanta. So that's really great. So I was able to order one. Hopefully that'll be in soon. And we'll take another look at the Masterverse He-Man with that head. But look at this. The colors are bright. They're vibrant. And it's just, that face sculpt looks so great to me. I love the glassy eyes look there. Fantastic. All right, let's put his stuff on, see what he looks like. All right, here he is with all of his gear on, ready to defend the town of New Texas, Fort Carrium. Look at this. It looks fantastic. All of his accessories fit on him. Excuse me, you can put the gun, the Tomahawk hatchet, his energy shield, the hat with the visor. Looks fantastic. His little holsters are on there, the poncho. I put the white vest back on just to give him a little bit of a different look. Yeah, I think that looks really great. Fully detailed, fully kitted out, ready to do battle. Ready to defend the people of the town is Marshal Bravestarr. Ramen Toys really did an amazing job here. All right, and here we have the three neutral lasers next to each other, so you can see the differences. And yeah, they're all very cool here. The center one, this is the vintage one, that's the Dasin one, and that's the Ramen Toys one. The Ramen Toys one looks really cool. It's got the metallic blue finish to it. And yeah, you can see that they're all a really nice callback to this vintage neutral laser. I mentioned before in the other video that this is the one that looks very much cartoon accurate. But I really enjoyed the look of this one. This one has that metallic blue finish, and I think it's very, very faithful to the vintage one. And yeah, the same thing. You can see that the bottom, it's extended more toward the front, whereas on the vintage one, it's extended more toward the back. But yeah, very cool, very cool. Really love the way they look together. All right, so let's first go with his vintage look. And as you can see, the blue harness, it's supposed to be like in that kind of look there. And yeah, it looks great. Love the way that looks. And take a look at the back here. See those little extra boxes there? Like this little panel here. Take a look. He has it here too. So that's nice. They actually brought in over all the details here from the vintage harness to this new harness over here. I like that. I think that's a really, really neat little detail there. Obviously they didn't have to do it, but they took the time to get it in there. I think that's fantastic. And yeah, the hat here, I still have a little bit of difficulty. Oh, there you go. I think I locked it in there finally. And yeah, I think that's a really cool callback to the vintage styled Marshal Bravestarr. Obviously the colors are definitely brighter here, but yeah, I think that blue harness definitely gives him more of this flavor here. All right, here are both Dasin and Ramen Toys figures in their Filmation cartoon look. I think that looks great. Obviously, this is more like exactly what he looked like in the Filmation animation, but Ramen Toys definitely took inspiration from that look to make this outfit. Oh, you know what? I could take off the holsters. That'll make it look a little bit more animation style. Yeah, look at that. Very cool, removing the holsters altogether, because in the cartoon, he didn't have holsters because the gun would materialize or dematerialize depending on if he pulled it out or holstered it. He would just touch his side and it would disappear, or he would touch his side and the gun would show up in his hand. Obviously, that was more of an animation like shortcut, but yeah, like, you know, that's why he doesn't have a holster, because they based his design on the cartoon, and that's the way he used to holster and pull out his gun in the cartoon. I think he looks really good. Both of these are very nice for two different reasons. Obviously, this one is more expensive, but they did a lot more detail work on him, and I think he looks absolutely amazing. Oh man, and here we have a multiverse of Bravestarrs here. The vintage Bravestarr, the Dasin Bravestarr, and the Ramen Toys Bravestarr. I think this looks fantastic. I love having them all together. They're all in different size ranges, so I can put them on different shelves. And yeah, I think it looks great. Looks absolutely great. And here goes all my Marshals doing that iconic Marshal Bravestarr poster lean. Yeah, in the Marshal Bravestarr movie poster, he does this. He has this lean, and they also do it in the opening of the show. He's leaning up against a star, just like this. And pretty much all the vintage toy line imagery, all of them had some kind of image of Marshal Bravestarr leaning up against something. Very Wild Wild West looking. Love it. I think this looks great. And as you can see here, he is definitely in the Marvel Legends size. This is the Marvel Legends Crystar. Again, I pulled him out. You know, I wanted to show you his sizing with him compared to the Dasin Toys Marshal Bravestarr, and I figured I might as well use him again to show you the Ramen Toys Marshal Bravestarr. And as you can see, they're in the same size. So he can definitely be on the Marvel Legends shelf if I wanted to put him there. Or the G.I. Joe shelf, G.I. Joe Classified shelf, because he's within that size as well. Oh, he's actually a little bit bigger than the G.I. Joe Classifieds figures. Take a look at that. You could definitely see Outback over here as one of the miners of New Texas, because he's got all of the equipment you would need to do mining out on the desert fields of New Texas. Get that carrying. Oh, that's very cool. And here's the man that started this whole trek down into Marshal Bravestarr land for me. This is the Motu Classics Rio Blast. Again, one of my favorite figures that I got this year, because he was a complete surprise. I was definitely not looking for him, but when I saw that he was less than the Origins figure, I was like, oh, I can't pass that up. But yeah, as you can see, they're the same size height-wise. Obviously, Rio Blast is thicker. Back in the day when I was a kid, I used to use Rio Blast as my bridge between Motu and Bravestarr. I would pretend that Bravestarr New Texas was like in that same time with Motu, but they were giants. That's why they were so much bigger. But it turned out that when Filmation originally created Marshal Bravestarr, they were supposed to like have some kind of at least tie-in with Motu, Masters of the Universe. It was supposedly like somehow Marshal Bravestarr as a kid he saw He-Man do something, and that's kind of what inspired him to become a marshal, something like that. And they never did it, but I think that would have been cool if they could have found a way, especially because I believe Rio Blast came out in the vintage line of Motu. I believe he came out at the same time as the Bravestarr figures were coming out. So I think that would have been really, really neat to have Rio Blast be a tie-in for both of them. I think that would have worked out really nicely. All right, here's another hero that has an energy shield just like Marshal Bravestarr's star. And obviously this is the Galactic Hero He-Man from Masterverse. And yeah, I just wanted to show him off because he also has the energy shield, and he has exactly the same kind of system there for the forearm that holds the energy shield. So yeah, you can put them together. Obviously Masterverse is a little larger, but yeah, you can see the two heroes of Masters of the Universe and Marshal Bravestarr's New Texas coming together to put the bad guys back in their place. All right, and here he is on Motu Origins Strider, and yeah, he's definitely a much better fit. He's definitely within the proportions to fit in this Strider much nicer than the Dasin toy one. The Dasin toy one seemed really kind of small in here. He seems like he's a really good fit in this Strider. And of course, as you all know, I am using Strider as my 30-30 currently. However, very exciting that Ramen Toys, the same company that made this Bravestarr, is actually making a 30-30. But it's the 30-30. He's only going to be in the horseman form. He's not going to be switchable to the horse, which is fine because the vintage 30-30 basically was just a horse. Like there was no real transformation to it. Like you basically just stood him up on his two legs and that's it. He's 30-30. And I can do that with Strider. As you seen me do before, You basically just do this with the legs. You put his hands in a proper position, tilt his head down, and that's it. He's 30-30 from the cartoon. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, wait. You can't be 30-30 without Sarah Jane. We all know that. Come on now. Got to put Sarah Jane on there. Now he's 30-30. Yeah. At this size, I don't know how they sized up the 30-30 from Ramen Toys, but at this size, you know, he is kind of big for this Marshal. But you know, as the horse, he can definitely ride him, and that's really good. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this look at the Ramen Toys Bravestarr, the Marshal, actually. Can't really call him Bravestarr. That's not the title on the box. But obviously he is Marshal Bravestarr. Excuse me. But I will say I'm really excited for 30-30 to come out. They do refer to him as 3-0, I think it is, Deputy 3-0. But yeah, this Marshal Bravestarr figure is fantastic. That poncho is such a nice addition to Marshal Bravestarr, which gave me the idea to do the poncho for my vintage figure. Using the Blade Master Wang poncho. And I love the fact that he is cartoon accurate, just like this one. It's fantastic. And the painting, the sculpting, the color schemes that they did, you know, this is a beautiful, beautiful recreation, redesign of that cartoon version of Marshal Bravestarr. He looks a little bit older, a little more grizzled. He's got all of the accessories that he had in the cartoon, the little shield, the little hatchet. That's so cool. And his articulation is fantastic. So, like, what more could you ask for? I think Ramen Toys knocked it out the park with this figure. And he's got an articulated ponytail. Come on, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this, and I cannot wait for them to release the 30-30 figure, because I think that's going to be really, really amazing. But here you go. I got my multiverse of Marshal Bravestarr. Marshal Bravestarr was like the last animation series that Filmation worked on. They unfortunately closed shortly thereafter. There was a lot of mismanagement. When the figures came out, Mattel put them out like a year earlier than what they were supposed to. Filmation was supposed to release... They were supposed to release the figures with the Filmation movie, which was supposed to be in the summer of 86? No, in the summer of 87. But they released the figures in the holiday season of 86. So, yeah, unfortunately, they jumped the gun by almost a year. And it threw off the figure sales. And then Filmation, in a panic, they released the cartoon series first. Because of what was going on with the toys. Instead of doing the movie, so the cartoons didn't really do much because the TV stations put the cartoons like at like 7 in the morning or something like that, instead of being part of the 4 o'clock power hour with He-Man and She-Ra. So yeah, that kind of killed the cartoon, and then their last gasp was putting out the movie, which, if you haven't seen it, definitely check out the Marshal Bravestarr movie. It was fantastic. But the movie wasn't able to save it either. So it was at that point, Filmation closed up and Mattel stopped producing the Bravestarr figures. But here they are in 2025. They're back in a really new and nice way. And I, for one, as a child of the 80s, as a child who grew up with Marshal Bravestarr, am super ecstatic to have them back in my collection. And to have these new figures that are very much based on the cartoon and the movie back in my collection. I love it. Ramen Toys did a fantastic job with this figure. All right, if you feel that I've earned it, please give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye now.